We are going to build our cities considering the aspect of transport. So our cities are going to be all inclusive. We are going to have our hospitals, our universities, our shopping markets very nearby each other. Electric cars is the solution, but it's not the solution. I mean, we don't have enough uranium and lithium to build cars that would be enough for the entire population. If we do get the electric cars, but what happens to them? How are we going to recycle them? Definitely more electric scooters and electric trams.
In animation and cartoons, like in Japan, how they have the speed trains, and even in Japan, because of how often women are assaulted, like in public, they have women-only carts on trains and stuff like that. So I'd like to see more speed trains around the world where it's faster to get around. Like in Big Hero 6, the movie, like how they've mixed San Francisco with Tokyo and made like a whole place, and transport looks so cool there and like very high tech. But I mean, everyone says flying cars, but hopefully we'll get flying cars, you know. I would like speed trains, like trams, or like all over the city. That's like easy to hop on one and then you'll get to somewhere really quickly. Or like the magnetized trains in Japan as well, where it's like it barely touches the track, like it's all magnet and it just flies past. Those boards with like 2 wheels on them, but hoverboards would be so cool.
I like the idea of the underwater travel, because since I'm from abroad, I always have to travel by plane. It would be nice if you can just hop on your car, just go under the water. They've been planning to put. I recently saw an article of Boris Johnson considering a roundabout on the Isle of Man underneath, like on the Isle of Man, but for underwater travel. So I'd like to see that in the near future. More complicated in big cities to navigate your understanding of how you should get from A to B. So if it's a bit easier, then I'd like that. If it's a bit more intuitive,
more like trams, because I think it would be so cool just to have like a train on the road. You just jump on it and get to your place, stuff like that. But normally, right now, I'm just walking mostly, and I think that's cool too, just to see the environment and see how like everything's changing and stuff.
I like bikes. We can see that we have some bikes around, so it happens that, you know, I use the bikes. So maybe in the future, I don't know, I like to see like more people using the bikes.
I actually had a project in school about using water to power cells for cars, and I think that would be really nice to see, especially in the future, because obviously we're struggling with like sustainability.
I would say walk, because I love to listen to music, and I love walking alone, for example, with my music, and I don't mind if it's a long distance or short distance at all.
More trains, more public transportation, and even other cities like here I walk a lot, but probably faster trains, more trains, or like electronic cars, of course, because I ride a car back in my country.
I'm usually the passenger using the public transport. It depends on the lifestyle. So if from what we've learned we can work from home, then we don't need transport as much. If I had a canvas to draw how I would like transport to be, accessible, definitely inaccessible and environmentally friendly. Do we all have to be Elon Musk or Virgin to travel? We've got the Brexit that is restricting us to travel. To buy a ticket to go to Europe, it's getting more expensive now. There's so many add-ons. In the future, what I would like the transport to be accessible to all. And who will be able to travel in the future.
The electric scooters that they have in Germany, I'd like to see a whole lot more of those. If they were like for public use, that would also be awesome. I personally like walking. I don't particularly like public transport. I think if it was more efficient, less gross in general, I'd use it more. For good taste, I want to chuck in a flying car because I love the idea of a flying car.
I think that they're going to start using the air a lot more, particularly drones, stuff like that, to deliver stuff, so there's less need for like delivery drivers. They can just have a drone drop it off, and in that way they don't need like somebody controlling it. They can have like a program which programs them to do it. I genuinely think they're going to push for more water-based vehicles anyway, like cars and buses, for instance, that can just transform and go into the water instead of having to get onto a ferry to then move it.
I don't mind walking. I've always been a walker, and I'm not a massive fan of the driverless vehicles like the pods and stuff like that. I like the idea of being in control of where I go.
We might not have seawater by or any fish in the ocean by 2040. I would like to see more technology in terms of getting to a place very quickly.
Less emissions would be nice, and being more conscious of materials and reusing materials, that would be really nice. With cars and how they break down, and then you'd have to get them fixed. I want something that can be steady, that you don't really need to go to get fixed again and again.
I would hope to see the most sustainable way possible of traveling. It doesn't matter if it's by car, by train, by bus, or by planes. I know by planes it would be hard to make it more sustainable, but I mean, we don't know what the future holds. Maybe we'll find a way to make planes even sustainable.